Hey everybody, Joe here. Thanks for tuning in again. So I've realized that many of you out there just want to see the entire process of a painting. And while it's difficult for me to take a 20-30 hour project and show you everything that happened in just one 20-minute YouTube video, I can break a project into many videos. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. You can paint along with me. I'm going to show you every step, every bit of it without cuts or time lapse. And you can follow along week by week, and please leave comments on the video so that I know what I can address in the following video. So to start, let's lay out a landscape painting. If I were Bob Ross, I would just go at it and I would start. But because I value being able to think of what I want and then execute it. You know, it's just a preference of mine. I like being able to imagine something and say, how can I get that done? So a sketch, I think, will help you to follow my reasoning and probably help you get more value out of it as well. So I'm just going to pull out my black paint. Now, I tried to set the camera so that you can see these paints that I'm using. It's just wall paint, low sheen. So any brand is going to do. This is just the paint that I use for anything I'm trying to do more quickly, especially murals that are big. But it works good on smaller paintings too. You'll find that this kind of paint just doesn't leave heavy texture because it shrinks a lot. And so that is one advantage of oil paint. It leaves a real pretty texture on the canvas. Well, this is not really going to do that, but this is excellent for learning and making quick progress. So what I have is you can go to learn.muraljoe.com/FAQ and look at the frequently asked questions to see what kind of paint that I use. This is just a pure yellow, a pure blue, a pure red, a pure black, and this black I got from Sherwin-Williams. And it's I said low sheen, but this one's actually a semi-gloss. And so it's kind of shiny because the shiny black that is tinted at a factory rather than in the store, those tend to be darker black. I just want as black of a black as I can get. And this white is just the bare ultra pure white. And I got it from the Home Depot. But Sherwin-Williams also has an excellent white that is their high reflective white, and I like that because it's just the brightest white ever. Any of these water-based paints are going to work for this project. This is about just getting the color on the canvas, and it dries quickly so that you can layer over it if you mess up. Very good for learning. I want to sketch a landscape scene. So let's start by deciding where the horizon is going to be. So let's do a basic sky, water, trees, maybe mountains, I don't know. So a horizon is typically, if you're looking straight out, if you go outside right now and you just look straight out, and let's say you're looking out to sea, then the horizon would be at eye level because you typically stand at 90 degrees to the ground, and the earth keeps going and going and going. The further out it gets, the more exactly straight you're looking to look at that furthest point you can see. So if I make the horizon higher in this picture, well, that's going to give the feel that I'm looking down, because if the horizon's here and you look down, then relative to your field of view, that horizon is higher. So if I put the horizon up here, it's going to be like a scene where I'm up on a hill looking down. If I put the horizon down here, it's going to be like I'm closer to the ground looking up. So I can decide what kind of a painting I want to do right away by deciding where that horizon is. So for this one, I'm not sure, so I'm just going to put one across the middle. And you can see I'm no expert at making straight level lines. And what do you say we do some hills behind that? You know, let's make maybe some hills here. And I want you to know that I'm dipping this brush in water right here and then mixing some black on it. I just use the top of I just use a paint lid to mix this paint on. And since it dries so quickly, you know, that's a nice thing about this. It doesn't get all over the place and make big messes because it just dries super fast. So this is a lot of water because I don't want this to have a buildup and leave the texture of these lines showing through my final painting. So it's very watery, just enough to show my lines. So let's say we do a hill here that's covered with maybe some trees, and maybe a hill behind that one right here. Maybe, what do you think? Another one behind? Let's do 3. 3 is always kind of a good number. You know, it makes things look nice if you do it in sets of 3 that are 3 different sizes. I still haven't figured out why that is. All right, so now let's say we have some mountains back here. So we kind of have these getting closer. So I feel like if I put the mountain over to this side, then I'll have more depth in my picture, because I've got these hills now going furthest, closer, closer. So now if my furthest mountain is back here, then by staging it so that it's further away, it'll cause it to look bigger. You know, so we'll put some mountain up in here like that. Now I want to encourage you to buy the How to Paint a Landscape series from learn.muraljoe.com if you haven't, because I explain in a lot of detail, more detail, how to strategize, you know, the angles on mountains and a lot of things that I'm not going to get to right away in this. But I'm just going to put a big one there. Maybe we'll kind of bring out some smaller ones here. So see, now we have closest, further, 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 furthest. So this is going to be cool. You know, this is going to be a nice system of hills kind of disappearing into the background. And then maybe just to top it off, we'll just put you know, the edge of a giant peak here. By putting this behind this one and then bringing it up to the same height, it's going to make it look really huge. Yeah, I'm just standing because I actually this is why it's valuable to draw things out, because if I just whipped that out in full color, you know, I wouldn't have time to go back and adjust. I don't like that coming up and continuing across this line. I want this line to really show. So I'm going to bring this down a little bit like that. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so this big peak, even though it falls down a little bit lower in perspective, it's going to look like a bigger mountain back there. Then we'll have some clouds coming up behind. So these will be the most distant clouds. Now clouds have perspective too. So the most distant clouds are going to have the most horizontal shapes to them. And then as they come closer, they might round out a little bit like this. You know, just like water would do the same thing. So we'll put some clouds in there and then have these nice little horizontal lines. And then we might put a cloud back in there that is below this layer of clouds. And maybe this cloud is just, you know, puffing up from the horizon like it's the beginnings of a rain cloud. Just kind of going up like that. See, for me, there's just a bigger thrill in executing the plan, because then I feel like I made it happen. You know what I mean? Like I learned how to control it, and then I made it happen. I had a vision, and then I made it happen. So for me, there's just a thrill in that. But you know, I'm not saying that paintings need to be done that way or that it's the better way. It's just the way that makes me excited. All right, so let's get off of those clouds and mountains for a while. It's going to make more sense when I get those things filled in. So here we have water, and you know, we might put a few foreground objects. So all the waves are going to be real close together and horizontal back here, and then they're going to get further and further apart. Lines are going to start, you know, I'm going to start having lines that start to angle a little bit more right here. So you know what might be good is if we just kind of make some lines of perspective in this. Let's do this here. Let's just go like this. Right, so I kind of have a vanishing point there. Like that. And, you know, if you do this kind of thing, you know, I explain this kind of strategy in my How to Paint Ripples video. If you do this kind of thing, you know, as these start to bend up more horizontally, you want to really start bringing them closer together. You see, because they're getting closer to the horizon. And vertical lines just get really scrunched. You know, there's almost no vertical lines when you get way up here by a horizon. That's how you make that perspective look real natural. Okay, so see, I'm getting closer and closer together. Now I know my lines are kind of sloppy, but it's okay. They're gonna get painted over anyway. Sound comes right through these studio windows. I'm actually sitting in the back room of the gallery where my art show is. So we've got San Francisco Street right out there out the front door. So you might hear a few cars go by. All right, so then we'll have some waves up in here. Let's not just make these straight. Let's kind of put an angle, maybe like this. And again, as I get close to that horizon, we're gonna really make these closer together. Now, even though I make these lines, that doesn't mean that I have to follow them exactly. This is just a point of reference, so so that you can follow what I'm thinking about and the way I'm strategizing this picture. All right, let's put them down here. Yeah, so maybe we'll make some, we've got a system of waves coming this way, we've got a system of waves maybe going that way. And if I wanted, there could be, a system of waves going all different directions. I could do more sets of these lines and then just put my reflection spots according to every single intersection, or according to every single area between intersections. You can do it however. Now, how about some foreground? We got that giant mountain back there. This seems like it might be rocky terrain. So it'd be cool to have a rock in here, wouldn't it? So let's put some rocks coming out, and I'll put this kind of going down here. So when I have a shoreline in the foreground, I'm gonna put some curve to that because that's down here in the foreground. Now background is this, this smaller percentage up here is the more distant background. When a shoreline gets up in here, I want to make sure that I don't have this amount of vertical change. Okay, so because when I'm up in here, a distance, look at this line from there to there, that could represent 1,000 feet of depth in reality. So I want to make sure that I don't make a shoreline going like this if it's that close to the horizon. So watch, see, I come down like this, then over. So this just represents a massive distance going away, and that would just be real straight and kind of unnatural. So instead of doing that, I want to make sure that most of my lines in a background like this are just barely coming down. See, so this line here is going to look a lot more natural than this one that swoops down. So I want to save most of my, if I want to drop down and bring the shoreline toward me, I just want to add maybe a lot of zigzag to it. So that's going to look a lot more natural than that first line that I made. It's going to be hard to follow this too. Okay, so I like the way that turned out. So now we have another shoreline, and maybe that'll just be a real long beach coming out off of this hill right here. So I won't put any vegetation on that just yet. And so then we've got that, we've got a rock. Does it need anything else? What do you think? Let's put a shoreline here. This will be fun. We've got a big rock right here, and let's put a shoreline where the water kind of meets the dirt, going right down there. Right down here. So we'll kind of put a little bit of surf. I'm just thinning that paint out so that and down here in the foreground, this is where you can really make things rounded and make it like you're looking down at it so that you can see the perimeter of the shape. It's not very good. Maybe like that, I don't know. Toying around with it. Okay, we got a rock there, we got all this open space. I wonder if it'd be cool to put some more some more stuff kind of hanging over here. This might be neat to put some vegetation kind of hanging over here. Maybe this will be like a foreground bush hanging over the side of this rock. Maybe we'll make layers of it. They're going further and further away. You know, that might be cool. Make it look like it kind of meets up with this distant shoreline. We'll see how that goes. You know, and then we might make just a few leaves coming in from the side, right here. And then, you know, maybe we do the same thing over here. Maybe we just make some vegetation hanging over the sides. I kind of like the open water. That's fun. So I don't think I want to get rid of that too much. Maybe these will be some big green leaves hanging over, just shooting in from the side like there's a bush or something over there just hanging over the water. Yeah, we'll do that. All right, cool. So now it's time to add some color. So the first thing I'm going to do is establish my colors that I want to reflect off of the water. It's going to be easier to do my water once I have these colors. So I'll start with this part of the painting. So how about the sky first? Let me rinse out my brush and get into the blue paint. So this is just like 11 ounces of their blue pigment at Sherwin-Williams, shot into a deep base. I think they call it, and it might be called ultra deep. Yeah, it says on the can. I'll just show you the can. You know, it's interior duration, and it says ultra deep base. So that just means that it's a very transparent base that's designed to take a lot of pigment. So I get a truer blue out of it. It's not going to be as gray. If it was going to be a more muted blue color, then you might use a base that was not as transparent so that it would cover better, so you didn't have to do as many coats. But for art and for mixing, I like to use the deep base. Okay, now let's put some blue and some white. So to keep this simple, I'm just going straight blue and white. I'm not doing any fancy colors on this sky. And you can see that this is already dry. That black on there is already dry. Let's do that. And a fun way to do clouds, just to start out with, is to just paint the space in between them. So here, you know, I said that this was a cloud right here. If I just paint the space in between that cloud and this up here, it's kind of fun to do that, and then bring the white in to that. So I'll put the blue on and then go to my white and just go along the edges. And the way I'm using my brush here is, you know, I'll kind of do it in slower motion so you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking the brush across like this. I try to keep only about half of the brush loaded with paint, even though it does get gooped up with paint and I have to rinse it out. And I'm just going this way and this way and this way, you know, kind of keeping it sideways like this. But a technique like this, I don't feel like that's an exact science. You know, I just want to make sure that I don't leave that unexplained, what I'm actually doing with the brush here. Okay, let's put white up in here. Now, if I said, how do you make purple? You might say, oh, well, red and blue. That's how you make purple. But a valuable thing to understand with paint is that something like a primary red and a blue like this, when you mix them, is going to make a very dark and grayish purple. It's not going to make a very saturated, colorful purple. What you need for that is a color like magenta. Magenta, you know, it's the color of pomegranate juice. It's a real violet red. I'm not saying that because we're going to do purple here. I'm going to use red And the result is not going to be purple. The result is going to be something that works really good for cloud shadows. And so I'm going to take this red. This red just comes right off the shelf at Sherwin-Williams. And I'm just going to use that to make shadows on these clouds. So wherever that mixes, and you can see it only takes a tiny bit. You know, so I have a blue and red mix here. Let's do a little more red. Now I know I'm mixing it right on the canvas. You don't have to do that. You can pre-mix it and save it, save the color if you want to. So this is maybe like a 60-40 mix of 60% blue. And that makes a real nice shadow color that I can use here. So you see when that meets up with this white right here. So now it looks like I have a cloud in a blue sky. I can put that shadow color up in here, put it down here, and we can put more of these horizontal shapes going across the sky right here, because this is lower. Now the first layer you do with a water-based painting like this, the paint goes on pretty easy and it gives you a little more time to blend. You'll find that once you start layering over this, like let's say you don't like the first take at it and so you paint over this and do it again, it's going to dry twice as fast on you because the catalyst in this paint, it'll activate and speed dry any paint you put on top of it for like, you know, the next several hours. So it's good to let it dry for a day. If you're getting frustrated with the dry time being too fast. So here, you know, wherever my blue is coming down and meeting the white, you know, I'm just putting a few little puffs on there. Just doing like this. Let's just merge these into one cloud. How about? And here was this is where I said I wanted to have like you know, the beginnings of a rain cloud rising up underneath these. So this will be kind of fun. Just take my white and put it on there. And I'm going to try to squeeze a lot of horizontal lines into this area that's down close to the horizon. And I'll tell you something fun to do on an area like this is to put a sharp line of white and then blend it down, but not up. Because it looks like a cloud behind a cloud. It looks like the bright white part of a cloud behind the shadow base of a cloud. If you blend it down like that, see, so all these lines, blend them down but not up. Have layers of clouds there. All right, and then up here was my mountain, so we won't touch that just yet. Let's here's some space between clouds. Let's do more of that. There we go. It's looking fun. Sometimes I feel guilty for liking my paintings, you know. I'll catch myself saying, oh yeah, that looks good, that's cool. Oh yeah, nice. Sounds like I'm congratulating myself. But, you know, it's my imagination taking shape. It's exciting for me, you know, I like it. Okay, let's do some clouds. We can finish off the edge of this one. See, and that'll meet up with that shadow color I put in there. So just like shapes on the shoreline are more rounded because you're looking down at them, in the sky, same thing. If you're looking up at the sky, you can make shapes that have more vertical lines. As you get down to the horizon, that's where I keep it real horizontal. Painting looks nice if you have perspective both in the sky and on the ground. Let's make a cloud up here. And if I have a lot of this blue color in the cloud, they're going to look more distant too. It's a good thing to remember. Let's put, I want that cloud to look like it's kind of high up. Let's put some white coming out from under this guy. See how I blend that down. That. Make that cloud look like it's more like this. Now, I don't want to be too much of a perfectionist here. This painting isn't all about the clouds. Kind of define the edges there. When I do these clouds, I'm using that long point of the brush, and this is just my quick technique, you know, I'm just putting the brush this way and then doing kind of curved swoops to get those rounded edges. And I've got plenty of paint on there, so that when I do that, it lays the paint on. It really is pretty thick. Let's put a little bit of that red in there, like this. See, that red goes a long way. Now I'm putting a little more pressure on my brush, and it's just getting some of that blue out of the base and mixing it with that red. There. There we go. Yeah, now see, if I make a darker shadow up there, it's going to look closer. I'll put a shadow up in this one. Okay, add some water to that. Might be kind of a lot of red. It's okay, it'll still look good. Add a touch of blue in there. Yeah, that red and blue just makes the perfect shadow color. Well, not the perfect shadow color. I mean, there's a lot of colors that could be used. All right, and then I'll put some white kind of behind this guy and make it look like that's blending down. Put an edge on that cloud right there. I kind of think that if I were to just randomly put these colors across the sky, as long as it were these colors, it would still look like an interesting sky. Just wouldn't be so defined. But since I'm a little bit of a control freak when it comes to painting, you know, I'll take time to really define where I have each item in the picture. But I definitely don't think that that's necessary. Okay, put that there. Let's put a little bit more white. I like these little clouds, they're fun. Let's accent those. And by letting this not mix all the way, you know, letting the brush strokes create, it almost creates the details of little puffs on that cloud without even trying. Now if I make this bluer down by the horizon, it'll look further away. Let's try that. Like that. There we go. Look at me coming back over the old stuff now. I've got a problem. All right, we're just about done with this. Just about done. And then here, we'll do the same thing. We'll put I've got a little bit of glare making it hard to see, so I'll just stand up here. Same idea here. I'll put in the blue sky. Then bring that white cloud up to it. Right here. Now let's put a little bit of shadow. Red and blue. Put some white. Get that nice gray violet. Nice cloud shadow color. You know, it's more violet than you would see in reality, but you know, just gray enough that it still looks believable. It kind of, for me, it makes the sky feel a little more kind of magical, having that violet color in the shadow. I just really like that shade. But if you just add a little black to it, you know, if it looks too cartoony and too violet, just add a little black and white, make it more gray. There we go. I think that'll do it. That'll do it for the sky. Now I can always come back and add more detail if I really see something standing out that I want to change. You know, I kind of want to, I'm already finding things. I kind of want to just take this and just merge it up into this cloud. Just see what would happen. They kind of become one, you know? Here's a fun thing to do with clouds too. You know, you take the shadow color. So I have, you know, this you want to do when there's a lot of white already in place. So let's put some bright white on this cloud down here. And then I'm just getting rid of paint right here. I'm just going to paint over that. So a little water on my brush, grab some of this shadow color. And if I don't have enough, I might have to get more, but I can put little clouds coming right across that bright white face. See, just like that. Something that I see all the time here, especially during monsoon here in Arizona. These little clouds in front of clouds. You know, whenever you have these clouds might be in a shadow, but then there's a big cloud that's in the sunlight right behind them, so you get this cool contrast. Then I can take some white and just barely fill in the middle of these. This kind of leaves a dark border around them. Okay, that's good enough for now. I think that's going to get us off to a good start. It's always good to step back and look at the picture, you know. I might, you know, as I progress, I might decide to you know, make a cloud cruising across the top of the mountain. Maybe add a little bit of detail, put another piece of cloud coming out here. I don't know. You be creative. I'll look forward to seeing what comments you have, and see, that'll help me to determine where to go next with this painting too. Okay, so I'm just going to hit up some of these comments from last week's video that my brother Ben just edited. You know, he does such a great job on these. I just send him a pile of random footage that I got throughout my 2-week job, and out comes this amazing video. So props to my brother Ben out in LA for doing this video for us. So here's an interesting comment. I really like this one from Snouty Pig. Pretty cool. I don't have religion, but I visit just to sit under those clouds. So that's a very nice compliment, and I appreciate it very much. You know, famous artists throughout history many have been very seriously religious. I don't feel like I'm a religious person, but maybe I am. I think we all have a perception of reality that in the end determines the way we behave. And so it's interesting to consider someone's point of view that maybe they do what they do because they actually think that that is the truth, and not because they're just trying to observe a particular religion. Although I'm not against observing a particular religion either. Structure can be a real good thing, and it's just a fascinating subject to me. I like this username. I ate my homework says, wow, now I can go see your work in person. Must live in the Richmond, Virginia area. I think this is going to be fun, having people continue to go see that because they're nearby. Even though that's the fun thing about going across the country and doing something. Gail Whiteman, amazing and wonderful as always. Joe, my brother Brad Robinson is a blacksmith in Richmond. I've told him that he needs to stop by and see your beautiful work up close. Thank you for sharing your work. That's really nice, Gail. Thank you. I hope that Brad Robinson also likes it. He's probably like, oh, now I gotta go see Joe's work. I don't even know who this guy is. Tons of Anarchy says, seems like I'm reading comments from this Tons of Anarchy a lot. You know what? You know how to leave comments that catch my eye. Why is that? Wow, you two seem to work perfectly together. Beautiful job, guys. Hey, Vince, my helper. You're the best helper ever. And I miss you already, buddy. Vince came and helped me all the way from LaBelle, Florida. And I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm doing stuff alone now. My helper's going. Spent 10 days straight together. Didn't get in any fights or nothing. I mean, what a good helper. So, Vince, I want you to know I miss you. And I'm sorry for cussing LaBelle. I made fun of you in your town a lot on that trip, so I'm sorry about that. But I know you liked it in the end. You're a good man, and LaBelle's a good town, I'm sure. Tim Sebang says, that father's hair is on point. I agree. I mean, I was impressed. Father Rossi is a good-looking guy. No doubt about it. This is Hank Jim Backer. Explain, because I'm confused. Week 15, and you start with day 1 and end about 2 weeks later. We titled the video, I've been doing these series of videos, and we're trying to do one each week. And so week 15 this is the 15th video that we've made. Maybe I need some help on the marketing end. Well, that job didn't take 15 weeks at all. No, it was 10 days. That's what it took. Okay, now I'm backing up to a few weeks ago to painting flowing water backgrounds. Anna Sketch, I can't say that. Anna says, can you do one painting step by step and give a lesson? Hey, I'm on it, right? Okay. Aria 10 says, I wish I could go to see your works, but I literally live on the other side of the world. Well, thank you for saying so. That's a very nice compliment, and it makes my day just to read that. Jenny Marks says, is there any way I can slow this video down? So again, we have that problem, like 20, 30 hours into a painting, I speed it up so I can show the whole project. And that's why I'm doing this. I definitely want to meet that need. Tara Berger says, can you do a video on skin tones, like tan, South American, blue, black, and very pale? That would be really good content. I'm definitely going to keep that in mind for future videos. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Thank you again for watching the video, and I'll look forward to seeing what you have to say next week and doing the next stage of our landscape painting.